So many of you listening would probably love to know how to make $10,000 per month as a student. And let's be honest with each other. There is a ton of bullshit out there and people making this seem a lot easier than it actually is. But literally just 2 years ago, I was in your shoes. In September of 2021, I was just starting my third and final year of law school. And I had paid over $200,000 in tuition and I was over $150,000 in student debt. And since then, I've done $9 million plus in online sales between my businesses. I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna tell you it's easier than it is. But for now, I'm gonna tell you the 3 main things that you need to be thinking about to give yourself the best chance possible to make $10,000 per month online. So step number 1 is just understanding where you're at. So there's all sorts of different businesses out there. There's direct-to-consumer e-commerce, starting your own brand. There's software, there's dropshipping, there's brick and mortar. But because you're just getting started and you probably have somewhat limited capital, you need to understand which ones will potentially work for you and which ones won't. And ideally, what you should be looking for is one that you can get started that has minimal starting capital, that has high upside. So even though you're not investing a whole bunch of money into the business, you still have high upside that can do very, very well and change your life. Number 3 is you want a business with minimal risk. So if you're starting a brand and you had to buy $100,000 of inventory, that's risky. And lastly, number 4, we want to find a business that isn't too complicated to set up, where you're going to have to go through legal compliance. Like let's say if you're selling drones or some healthcare product, it might be very, very complicated to get the requisite approvals to actually get started with the business. We want something simple that we can launch within a few weeks. So once you understand these basic fundamentals of where you're at and what you're looking for, step number 2 is you need to pick the correct business vehicle. And what I mean by business vehicle is the type of business you're going to run. So software, a business vehicle would be e-commerce, consulting, and agency. So you want to then look at these businesses and assess which one makes sense given where you're at. A direct consumer e-commerce brand is off the table. Number 1, this takes a whole bunch of skill and experience to run. Number 2, it's very risky. So you have to buy inventory. So let's say if you buy $100,000 inventory and you have it sitting in a warehouse. If you don't know how to sell that inventory, you're going to be in deep, deep trouble. You're going to lose all the money that you paid for it. So while a direct consumer e-commerce brand is an excellent business model, I recommend starting with high ticket dropshipping, which I'll get into in a minute, before you do that, because you don't have to buy any inventory in advance. You can build your skill set. So then when you actually do want to start your own brand, you've built the skill set and you'll be able to sell the products effectively. And all these businesses, direct to consumer, having your own brand, trading, coding, these are all very, very difficult without experience. And while some things like doing remote sales online, that can be a very good business to start for cash flow, so you can make some money. Ultimately, when you're doing sales, the only time you're making money is when you're on a sales call. So you're still trading your time for money. So what I would recommend doing is you want to get a job like sales or maybe a remote job at home, but then you want to start making money where you can have enough to actually put into a real business, like an e-commerce business that you can then outsource and automate for a source of passive income, or that you could eventually sell down the line for an exit. And the first actual business that most people start is dropshipping. But the problem with dropshipping is most people think of dropshipping in its traditional sense. You think of AliExpress dropshipping, where you're selling junk quality products from China, you have very long shipping times, you have angry customers, you get bad reviews, and they're usually very viral. So let's say if you find a viral product on TikTok, you sell it for a month or 2, you make a whole bunch of money. Once that virality wears off, you're then back to step 1, and you're trying to find the next viral product. But with high ticket dropshipping, which is what I started, is really the best of both worlds, because number 1, you don't have to invest a single penny in inventory. You don't have to invest a penny in warehousing. All you need is a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection to get started. But you can actually sell name brand products from the US where you can make thousands of dollars profit per order. So you are a new store. People don't necessarily trust you, but you can then partner with brands that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years that people know and trust. So for example, if you were buying an iPhone and you were buying it off Amazon or Best Buy, you probably don't really care where you get it because you're getting an iPhone. You know and trust Apple. So when you, as the e-commerce store, partner with these high-end brands to sell their products, the customers kind of see through you because they're getting this product from the brand that they trust. It's been around for 30, 40, 50 years. So that allows you to bypass a lot of that initial friction when you're getting started by already selling products that people are already familiar with. So all that matters is the brand you're selling, and then you can target people on Google and Bing searching for those exact brands. So if you're selling an Alfresco grill, if you partner with Alfresco and become an online authorized retailer for their products, then you can literally show them to people searching for those exact products on Google. And a lot of the time, these brands won't sell their products themselves. The only way that customers can buy them is through retailers like you, except you are not a traditional brick and mortar retailer. You are an online retailer where people can go and buy these products from your online store. And another thing you want to be aware of is free cash flow. If you're starting your own brand and you have $100,000 in inventory, that's not money that you can access. Like you have to then sell that inventory, and then when you get your profit back, you have to then buy more inventory. So if you have millions and millions of dollars to start your own brand, yes, go ahead and do that. But for someone just getting started, you don't want to have to be taking all the profit you make to buy more inventory. And that's the problem with with a traditional e-commerce brand. With dropshipping, where I sell a $7,000 item for $1,800 profit, I take that profit and it's mine. Like I don't have to go buy more inventory. So that's the importance of free cash flow within a business. And the thing about high ticket dropshipping, guys, is you can literally scale the business to an infinite level. There's stores out there like Barbecue Guys. This is a high ticket dropshipping store selling grills. They had signed an agreement to be acquired for over $900 million. So if you do decide you're growing your business and you really want to go all in on it, you can have like a US company with US employees, US sales reps doing the high ticket dropshipping business model. But even if you don't, you can grow it very big, having other people run it. And if you really decide you want to, you can turn this into a real business and scale to an almost infinite level. So no matter what you're doing, I think in online e-commerce, it really is the perfect stepping stone because it really gives you all the skills you need to do pretty much whatever you want after. Regardless of any of that, when you have grounded expectations and you're being realistic, it's never been easier to succeed. Guys, to start a business like 50 years ago, you needed hundreds of thousands of dollars. You needed business licenses. You needed to go to the bank to get the payment process set up. It has literally never been easier to succeed. But with that, you need to have realistic expectations. And to be completely honest with you guys, once you do make that first $10,000 per month, that's the easy part. The hard part is maintaining it. And it's really a game of consistency and discipline. But the only way the breakthroughs come is if you keep putting the time in, keep putting the effort in, even when you do not see the immediate results. Overall, guys, I hope you found this video valuable. I'll link in the description the video that breaks down the high ticket dropshipping business model, step by step, how it works. And if you're interested in working with me and my team directly on building your first ever store, I'll put the link that you can apply in the description. It's been a pleasure, guys, and we'll chat soon.